Hello, my name's Mrs O'Neill. One of my roles at the school is Head of Geography, and the other role is to oversee all the residential education that goes out of the school, of which in the past we've had a massive programme. Today I'm going to explain what's going on with the Year 12 residential to Bournemouth. The residential for Year 12 this year is going to take place Monday the 18th to Friday the 22nd. The residential takes place in what the school term Enterprise Week. You don't need to worry that your daughter or son is going to miss any lessons because the whole school collapses timetable during this week. The Year 8 go on their residential, the Year 12 go on their residential, Year 10 this year on work experience, and everybody else left in school is careers related. We're going to travel down on the coach and we hope to leave the school at 7 in the morning. Returning on Friday the 22nd at approximately 6 o'clock, very much load dependent on the traffic. Students will receive a letter close to the time which will finalise these travel arrangements. This year we're very fortunate, we're going to be staying in a hotel in Bournemouth and we have sole use of this hotel, so it's just for Northampton School for Boys. It's got lots of facilities, from swimming pools to pool areas to a great big ballroom which we're going to be using as our meeting point. Sleeping accommodation is separated by two wings. We're going to have a male wing and a female wing of the hotel, and it's going to be manned by staff from Northampton School for Boys as well as Land and Wave. The hotel also have a skeleton scarf that's going to be working with us, and the reception will be manned 24 hours. In terms of rooms, because students have already come to me going, Miss, how are we going to sort out rooms? We have some single occupancy, which is great for those that perhaps don't want to share, like to have a room to themselves. We've also got twin rooms, triple rooms, going up to 5 occupancy. All the rooms are en suite, and students will be given time to arrange these roomings. So unlike their Year 8 trip, they will be requested to come and collect a card from my room and fill in the names of the students that they want to be in their room. I know some of you have only just started, and I know some of you are thinking, well, who am I going to go with? Again, we also find it's a good way of making friends. Those that are not sure or don't know who they want to room with, we can put them together. And it's a great way of kind of being forced into a room with someone, but you kind of make those friendships. It is full board, but I do understand that we're talking about teenagers. So breakfast is a buffet, so they can eat as much as they like. Lunchtime, they have a packed lunch, which is taken out to all the activities with them. And then in the evening, they've got their evening meal. Again, it's done like a buffet style, so they have choice and options. I do understand they're teenagers, so there will be opportunity for them to buy snacks at certain times. There will be a tuck shop run at the hotel, which will be available for them after the evening meal, before we go out for our evening activity. Some of the places that we're going to in the evening, there is also cafes where you get a coffee, your chips, snacks, soft drinks. So if they are these hungry teenagers that are constantly eating, there are opportunities. Don't forget there's also a stop on the way down on the surfaces. There's also a stop on the way back. I would also suggest that they bring their own snacks that they can keep into their rooms. As for asking how much money should they bring, I'll leave that up to your discretion. Why do we go then? Well, NSB really value outdoor learning and see the benefits of such opportunities that we have been able in the past to offer all our students. Unfortunately, through COVID, obviously all school residentials have stopped, so it's great to see that they're back on the calendar. Being part of such a large sixth form can sometimes be difficult, and past students have said how that the residential helps them to build and form strong friendships. It also gives them that shared experience, something they can talk to over the years. I know with a lot of them, it's what they talk about in their end of year book when they leave. There's always comments about something that they did or how they met on the residential. It also gives form tutors a chance to break down barriers and actually get to know the character of their tutees. We're working with a company called Land and Wave. Now, we've worked with them before, and they will be running all the day activities. So when the students get taken off, so they will be ferried to different locations around Bournemouth and Swanage and Sandbanks. It will be Land and Wave that are supervising those activities. And then some of them will also be coming with NSB to the supervised evening activities. They hold the ALA licence, which means for adventurous activities, this licence suggests that the activities that providers are giving follow a good safety management practice. And as I said, we've worked with them before and we've been super impressed with them. At the bottom, when you get access to this presentation, there is a link which you can then gives an example of one of their activities of co-steering. So what activities will the students be doing? Well, students will be involved in activities from 9 AM to 9 PM. So it's a full packed week. Even when we travel down on the Monday, they will start activities in the afternoon going through into the evening. And on Friday when we return, again, there is activities in the morning before we leave. Before we leave, students will be allocated to a group. So they will be given a group number. And this group will be allocated an NSB member of staff. That member of staff will accompany that group to all of the activities they will be doing throughout the course of the week. Any issues anybody has, they need to speak to their allocated member of staff in the first instance, and then that will be then reported to me, and then we will see what we can do to resolve the problem or situation. But this is one event here. You can see they're doing a little bit of team building. So team building is one of the activities that they will be taking place. Here's another team building activity. I think they're trying to build a large catapult here. As I've said, the daytime activities, whilst we try and give all students the same experience, they may have a slightly different programme, as it's very difficult timetabling 240 plus students, but the timetable will be similar. Again, this was a problem solving activity. Not quite sure what they were doing with the cones, but they seem to be enjoying themselves. As the name would suggest, we're working with Land and Wave. A lot of the activities are water-based. So we've got kayaking, giant paddleboarding and co-steering booked in. Students will need a lot of old clothes for the land and water-based activities that they do not mind getting wet. So you don't need to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe for this activity week. You know, they are going to be a lot of the time out on the water. Land and Wave will provide wetsuits, buoyancy aid and helmets. So they will need some old trainers or wet shoes that you use on the beach for these water-based activities. I will send out a kit list nearer the time so students are fully aware of what they need to be bringing with them. But outward bound clothes essentially. Here you can see some students doing what we call co-steering, and I can see that here perhaps some parents panicking a little bit, jumping off cliffs into the sea. It is very much weather dependent, and we do take account every single day of the weather conditions, and Land and Wave will change activities if the weather doesn't permit us to be doing such activities. We didn't have too much trouble here. This was Swanage Bay one early morning 2 years ago, where the students were out for a morning paddle. Nice and calm there. And here we've got them kayaking and also giant paddleboarding. However, if I remember, they spent most of the time falling in the water. Great fun. What you can see though is that Land and Wave did change the activity. That was the last morning. Weather conditions were pretty poor along the coastline, so we went to an inland pool of water which can be used for Land and Wave activities so that the activities could continue and go ahead. So we do take consideration of weather conditions and may have to change the activity in the morning. Swimming ability. So we've just mentioned that a lot of the activities are sea-based or in water, and some of the activities in the evening, which I'll go on to later, are also water-based. So please be honest on the medical form. Students who cannot swim or who are weak swimmers can still fully participate in all the activities, but staff, both NSB staff and Land and Wave, need to be aware of their ability in order to be able to support them. So please don't be embarrassed if you're feeling they're not very good at swimming or they don't like the sea. Please just put it down so we are aware and we can add it to our risk assessments and make sure that those students are supported. So as well as the team building and the water-based activities, we also have a bushcraft skills day. So they go off to a woodland making fires or learning how to make fires. They do a bit of plucking birds, which kind of for some went down really well and for others a little bit squeamish. They cook on an open fire. They do a little bit of axe throwing, knife carving, and in the woods they also do some archery. So it's a full-on day, so that's your bushcraft skills day. A little bit of archery going on there. I think in this scene he's trying to make fire. Another activity that they do, which kind of combines the water-based and the team building, is the raft building that they do out at sea. It tends to be more of a competition, so lots of activities which involve challenge and teamwork competitions, encouraging communication and leadership skills. It does take them a while sometimes to get going on this activity. And here's a lovely picture of them along the coastline just before they got ready, trying to work out what they were going to do. So a little bit of teamwork needed. Might like a bit of competition. Now, normally, if we can't do some of the activities, for example, the coast steering, one of the alternatives that we go to is climbing and abseiling, and this is along the coastline. The students here have just finished the activities. A little bit of a windy day, but they still loved it. So climbing and abseiling is another activity that takes place during this week. Look at that, beautiful friendships made. Trust in your colleagues as you climb up that cliff face. So that's the day activities, fun packed. So you've got your team building, you've got your water-based activities, you've got your bushcraft day, and then you've got your raft building, climbing and abseiling. So students will be doing approximately 2 activities a day, unless it's the bushcraft day where they're obviously out in the wood for the entire day. So please remember to bring some warm clothes. Now, evening activities do not stop. So in the evening, the students will be divided into 3 large groups, and we're going to be taking them to 3 different activities. We have bowling, of which we have half of the bowling alley allocated to NSB, the water park, of which we've got sole use of, and crazy golf, which apparently is all the rage now, these big crazy golf centres, and again we have sole use. So that's over the 3 nights, and then the final night is based in the hotel. I've put on the link onto the PowerPoint so you can have a look, but Splashdown is a typical water park, lots of slides, a hot tub, and they have great fun. So you go down on the big rubber rings. bowling. Not very good at this, me, but yeah, nice. Again, the website's there, so you can have a little look at the bowling alley that we're going to be going to. And this crazy golf, Mr. Mulligan. Again, the website's there for you to have a little look at and see how large these crazy golf places really are. Now, the last night. So the last night, the final night, is a presentation evening. So we get all the students down in the ballroom. We're going to do some kind of presentation evening with their groups and their group leader. And then apparently we're going to do a silent disco. I don't know how these work, but we're going to do a silent disco. Apparently some of the staff are really looking forward to this. So that's all the activities that we're going to be doing. You've got your water, your climbing, your raft building, your bushcraft in the day, and then into the evening you've got your bowling, your swimming, your crazy golf and your silent disco. So what do I need you to do for me? The first then is I would like you to make sure that your son and daughter has sent their reply slip to their form tutor. So that needs to be done as soon as possible. And if this is going out on Thursday, preferably by Friday, I really do need those reply slips coming in. It's a very short turnaround. I've got 4 weeks in which to plan the entire Year 12 trip. So I need all the reply slips in. The second then is parent pay. Parent pay is where we uses our secure payment for all trips. So I would like the deposit or the first payment in by the 17th of September. Now I know it's a lot of money in a short period of time. We did try and send the letters out before the summer to give people some idea of that trips were back on and this would be the payment required. But I do understand that some of you have only just started and only just got your place a few days ago. So if you do need to speak to me about financial assistance or just want to have a chat, please contact me at the school. Now, when you pay now on parent pay, there's also a medical form, so I don't need to keep sending out lots of paper and trying to do a big paper chase. So parent pay also has a medical form on it that you need to fill in for the trip. Please, please, please give as much detail as possible. It doesn't matter how insignificant it may seem. If I have that information, it makes me planning the trip a lot easier. So it's private, it's confidential. I need as much information as possible. This is when I get a little bit narky. No reply slip, no payment, no medical form filled in means no place. So please, please get those reply slips in, payments in and medical forms in. If you choose not to go, please send the form in saying that you don't require a place. It saves me chasing. And if you're not going on the residential, obviously you'll be sorting out your work experience and then you'll also be sorting out or you'll be working within the school. So don't worry if you don't want to go, it's not for you. There is something arranged for that week. But we hope as many of you as possible will come with us to Bournemouth and enjoy this Year 12 residential. As I said on the previous slide, if you need help or more information or have questions, please contact myself. This is my email, so toneil@nsb.northants.sch.uk, or you can telephone the school and leave me a message and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. And hopefully your students or your child will come back looking as happy as this chap. It was 2 years ago a really exciting, fun-packed week. Thank you for listening.